Good afternoon. Welcome to World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara's webinar overview of the Global Business Academy, or our GBA program. We're very excited. The program starts in about 2 weeks on October 27th. We're pleased to have you tuning in to learn more about the program. 2020, I don't need to tell you, has been a difficult year for everyone. And as we look to 2021 and beyond, it's our belief at World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara that export is a path to sustainability and growth for companies in the Buffalo Niagara region. So we're very excited about putting on this program. Looking forward to bringing a great group of mentors together and speakers and lots of information and help you build your export plan for 2021. My name is Craig Turner and I'm president of World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara. I want to tell you a little bit about the World Trade Center organization so you know who you're getting involved with. We are a part of the World Trade Centers Association, which is a global organization made up of about 330 World Trade Centers now. A lot of people, when they think about World Trade Center, you think about the buildings in New York, which interestingly don't have too much to do with our organization, to tell you the truth. But we have about 330 World Trade Centers around the world that we all work together. We build relationships with them. We have the opportunity to pick up the phone and call them if you need them. Something in the market, you need intelligence, you need research on a company that might have reached out to you. It's a very, very strong network and very, very well branded throughout the world. When you sign up for this program, or if you're already a member, or when you sign up for this program, we include a year's membership. And if you're a member with World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara, you're a member with all of the World Trade Centers. So everything from getting information from them to even if you're in country or in a market and you need somewhere to have a meeting, when we are back to meetings, you have access to the facilities to be able to meet at their facility. World Trade Center is very well branded. If you have World Trade Center on your logo, on your envelope as you're sending, or on your mailing address, it offers you instant credibility and reliability going into international conversations. This is World Trade Center Association's 50th anniversary. So for half a century, this organization has been promoting trade around the world. Our organization, World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara, we are actually in the middle of our 20th anniversary right now since we got the license in the year 2000. We represent a territory that is bounded on each side by Hamilton and Syracuse to the east, down into northwest Pennsylvania. It's actually a big territory, and it's a unique territory too, because out of all 330 World Trade Centers around the world, there's only 2 that are binational, one of which is World Trade Center Metz-Saarbrücken on the French-German border, and us. So it gives us a different perspective, because the reality of the situation in our region is cross-border trade is a huge economic driver. And as we look to talk to the world about doing business in our region, it's the fact that you can be here and do business in 2 different countries is a huge selling point. So we operate on both sides. When we talk to the media, when we do programs, even though we're based in Buffalo and located in Western New York, when we speak on behalf of binational trade. So we have a great number of members in Canada. We have a great number of members in Western New York, and it makes for a lot of opportunity and a lot of great discussion among our membership. So let's get into the Global Business Academy program. The Global Business Academy program is an export plan program. The goal of this is to educate you, to connect you with the right people that can help you make smart decisions going forward for your export plan, and then ultimately work with our experts that we've put together to create your export plan for 2021. That's a 9-week program. It's a virtual program. Everything is online using Zoom. Basically, except for the first week, we have 2 sessions in week 1, and they're just mornings. They usually run from 9 to 11, let's say, to be safe. The first week, which is October 27th and 28th, there's back-to-back days, and that's to do intros and then really kick off the program. We have put together a tremendous array of experts to help you not only get the education you need, but also have longer lasting relationships, because Trade is constantly changing, and there's always new things to learn and always new questions that need to be asked. One of the important things about the GBA program is that at the end of the program, after you've been through the educational sessions, after you've drafted your export plan, you get to sit down one-on-one with our mentors. And our mentors are legal, they're accounting, their supply chain, the process across the board. We try and hit you from every possible perspective that you're going to encounter as you're dipping in international trade or advancing your existing operations. So the easy question is, why export? And we look at, the economy is what it is right now. It's a crazy place. It's very unpredictable. There's not a lot of certainty for the rest of 2020, which you've had no certainty for the last 6, 7, 8 months. And 2021, still who knows? There's still a lot of questions to be answered, but freight is still flowing, trade is still happening, export is still happening, and it's still, from our perspective, is your opportunity for growth. You think about how the different markets have reacted. There's a safety in being diversified in different markets. You're in the United States, if you're just doing a domestic market and there's a bit of a downturn or something happens, if you're an exporter, you still have other markets to lean on. So you have to remember that more than 95% of the world's consumers are outside of the United States. Your competitors are exporting, they're increasing the global market, and we want to encourage you to do the same. Access. We understand exporting on the surface, on paper, can look intimidating, but which is why we created this program the way we did. Bring all the experts to you, give you access to them, give you their email addresses and their phone numbers so that when questions arise, not only do you know who to call, but you know the question to ask them. That's one of the biggest challenges and one of the hurdles that's the hardest for companies to overcome is you don't know what you don't know. Sometimes there's a question to be asked and you may want to call an attorney, but if you know you do, the clock starts ticking and you're spending money without even knowing what question you asked. Going through this program is going to give you those questions, and actually we're going to give you access to the people that can answer them for you as part of the program. Competitive advantage, U.S. companies are well regarded around the world, and there's, when it comes to quality, when it comes to service, when it comes to deliverability, you have an advantage just being a U.S. company, especially if you have that World Trade Center brand attached to your company. You go to China, you go to India, you go to Europe, and now even Africa is growing within the World Trade Center network. You have an in. You already have an in to get started, and being a U.S. company, you're going to be seen as having a competitive advantage right from the beginning. And then again, I mentioned risk mitigation. Looking at the state of the economy, to have yourself diversified into different markets and different places when you can do business is going to be a benefit for you going forward, especially if something of the dramatic nature of COVID-19 happens again. So what do we cover? Well, soup to nuts. We want to give you everything you need to know, at least at a high level, so that you understand how to wrap your head around export in the first place. So as I mentioned, we're going to be doing an export plan. We're going to take you right through the process. You're going to draft it. You're going to have the opportunity to sit down with mentors who will go over your specific export plan with you. We're going to put international trade resources in front of you from the federal government, the state government, local governments, private sector, not-for-profits. You're going to know what the ecosystem looks like for you. We'll talk about sales. We'll talk about marketing, finance, legal, accounting, logistics and supply chain. E-commerce is a specific one we talk about because it's a huge piece of the puzzle now going forward, even more so than it might have been at the beginning of this year. So across the board, all of the topics that we know from our members trading that you're going to run into as you're doing international trade. Here's the schedule. It's quick. We like to move you through a lot. It's as I mentioned, the first week you're there for 2 days, but then it's one morning a week right up through December, and we hit on a different category of topics each week. Typically, as I said, usually goes from 9 in the morning until 10. One of them, I think, the legal and tax might go a little bit longer, maybe 11:30, but just, it's 15, 20, 25-minute presentations giving you the overview, giving you the contact information, and giving you really what you need to really grasp where your export plan needs to go. You'll see week 6, office hours. At this point, you'll be working on your export plan. You'll be drafting it. So what we're going to do is just hold a couple sessions where we'll have some of our mentors sit on a Zoom call, and you can ask them questions while everyone else, all the other partners, can listen in. So these aren't the detailed questions about your operations, but these are the more general questions that the entire group can benefit from as you're creating your export plan. Week 7 is your mentoring. So what we will do is we'll set up one-on-one Zoom sessions with all the categories of mentor that I mentioned earlier, and we'll set them up on your schedule and on their schedule. Typically, in a normal world, we would try to do this in person, and it kind of takes on a speed dating feel where you're moving around the room talking to different people. But given that we're going to do everything virtually, you're able to schedule these directly with the individual mentors. And then finally, we want you to submit your export plan, and you are a graduate of the program. And then we're going to follow up with you, because we're going to make sure that export plan gets implemented, and we're going to want to hear from you how it's going, because when we run this again next fall, we want your testimonials and how great the program was. So who's right for GBA? We look at the program is designed, I like to say, for a couple different categories of company. One is a company that's new to exporting. You've hit your ceiling domestically, and you know that export is the next step for you for growth. You're a sophisticated company. Your processes are good. You have your value proposition. It's just that next step. How do I get into the next markets? And for a lot of our companies in our region, obviously, that next market is Canada. Canada's right across the river. The economy is very much the same. The culture is the same. It's very, very easy to do business in Canada for someone in Western New York. We, as I mentioned, represent both sides of the border. So as a World Trade Center member, going through this program, we've got all the relationships that you need to take your export plan and put it into practice. The second category of company that we like to see in the program are companies that are exporting but want to become more sophisticated. So a lot of things happen with exporting. We talk a lot about companies that are exporting by mistake. You're churning along with your domestic business, and you get a call one day that a distributor in India wants to distribute your product. So you walk down to your COO's office and you say, figure this out. And the COO figures it out, and you start doing the business. You might not be compliant. You might be leaving money on the table. You might not be looking at free trade agreements. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that may not be optimal. Coming through this program, we're going to put you in touch with the people who can teach you how to make it optimal. Now, I say all that, we run a similar program on the Canadian side in the Niagara region, and one of their testimonials is a little company called Zamboni went through their program. Now, here's a company that's been around for 50, 60 years, selling all over the world, and they came in and knew that their export processes, or as they would say, their export processes, were not up to snuff. So they got a lot out of the program themselves. We're gonna focus on the first two categories, but the program, if you need to ramp up your exporting, you're going to get benefit out of the curriculum that we put together and the access to the mentors. So the registration, the cost of the program is only $495. In the past years, our GBA program, which was always the Global Business Administration Program, and this year we've rebranded it as the Global Business Academy. So past years, the GBA programs were around $2,000. We said this year, let's get as many companies in as we can. The 10-week program is $495. Includes a 1-year membership to the World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara upon completion of your export plan, which is important because if you're a manufacturer, 1-year membership is $750. So for less than the cost of a membership, you're getting this program on top of it. And then I feel like I'm on a infomercial, but wait, there's more. New York State has grants through the federal government called the STEP program that can offset or a large percent, I think it's 70 or 75% of the cost of this program. So in the end, for about $150, you can get into this 10-week program that I guarantee will change your company for the better. I'd like to laugh and say, for the cost, even at $495, you're going to get one-on-one time with an attorney and an accountant and people that charge by the hour. So if you get in those sessions and you start asking questions, and they're part of the program, they've volunteered their time and their expertise to helping these companies grow, you're going to make up your money with a couple questions. So lots of ways to get, we tried to eliminate barriers to getting into the program. We hope that works for you. Again, we're able to do this. We're able to keep that cost at $495 because of the generous support of our sponsors. So National Grid, Speed, ECIDA, M&T Bank, Wealthy Customs Brokers, and National Fuel really have made it possible for us to keep the cost on this low and get more companies into the program. We have a number of partners that we like to thank for helping us get the word out on the program and for their engagement in putting the program together, including the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance, Global New York, that's the state program through Empire State Development, U.S. Commercial Service from the U.S. Department of Commerce for the Buffalo chapter, Rosanna, who many of you may know. Rosanna Masucci from U.S. Department of Commerce is going to play a key role in here because she's going to be our coach to get through to get you to the completion of your export plans. Thanks to Todd and the Manufacturers Association of the Southern Tier, and thanks to the folks over at Launch New York who have been phenomenal as well. That's everything. Registration is very easy. We put together a form that's not very onerous, can get you in quickly. We're looking to have 12 to 15 companies in the program. That's a nice number, not only for the discussion, but also for the mentors who are going to sit down with them. If you start to add it up, if you're going to spend a half hour with each company, there's a time investment there. So 12 to 15 companies per session is a good one. You can register on our website, wtcbn.com/events/GBA. If you just go to wtcbn.com, it's pretty easy to find too. Fill out the form, get in the program, change your company for 2021. We're looking forward to a great group. We're looking forward to great discussion and really seeing what we can accomplish when you've been educated on moving into more export in 2021. So thanks for being here.